Hello, 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 and welcome. A little bit of suspense there. Welcome to episode 327 of Prog Review. And today I'm going to give you a value for money. It's a 2 for 1 episode. Yes, what have I got for you? If you haven't read the title or description, I'm doing Rick Wakeman's Six Wives of Henry VIII. Not the Eight Wives of Henry VI. That's a different album. But the Six Wives of Henry VIII, and of course, Tales of Arthurian Legend from what's it called again? The Myths and Legends of Legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. That one just trips off the tongue, doesn't it? These have been recently reissued. But before I blabber on, I'm going to hand you over to my good friend Darren, who's going to show you what these look like in depth, because I know you like to get your jollies that way. Yes. Take it away, Darren. Why, thank you, Darren. And yes, here we have the Six Wives of Henry VIII. This is reissued. As you can see, it mimics the original album sleeve, and the first disc here we've got is of course the CD. Like you can see, you get each panel telling you all about the history of each wife. There you go, so you get a little history lesson whilst you listen. And this is the DVD, which has stiff. This has all the quad version on and the stereo version as well, so there we go. And we also, so let me pull it out, yoink, we have a booklet, indeedy. And again, we've got some cuttings there about the making of the album. See, gets you in the mood. And there's also a rather long essay by Jerry Ewing of Prog magazine about the making of the record as well, and that is from the original album sleeve. So yeah, it's your standard. It's your standard reissue fare. Nothing to get too alarmed about. It's a good read. So there you go. So it does a good job of replicating the original album design. Next one up is of course this one. This is the Myths and Legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. I love the way that one just rolls off the tongue. So there we go. Mr. Wakeman was in full cape effect back in those days. Again, first CD. My God, he's wearing a pointed hat. First CD is the album. There he is again. He's enjoying a flagon of lemonade. I'm sure it's lemonade. And this is the DVD with the quad mix on for you. So it looks like something out of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, doesn't it? Those pictures. I guess where they got the idea from. So let's just get the booklet out. It's all rather snug, and that's very reminiscent of the original album artwork. So if I remember rightly, it had a very thick booklet with lots of illuminated text inside. There you go, and it's done a good job here mimicking the album sleeve. So there you go. Oh yeah, that was from the inlay. And again, we've got another essay from Jerry Ewing telling you about the making of the record. And there you go. So they do a good job of replicating the original album artwork, including the gatefold. So there we go. There they are together. And I'll hand you back to that fat idiot. Well, I think you'll agree that was most informative. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not. I love Rick Wakeman. I love him as an individual, as a personality, as a member of Yes, as somebody that has contributed to amazing things, as a session musician to many albums and songs. But I find his solo work, I find it a little bit boring. For me, the only album you need is this one, the Six Wives of Henry VIII. It's got a lot of humour in it. It's it's a loose concept album. It's not really. I don't really think it's a concept album per se. I think it's just he's named the naming convention. He's named the tracks after the wives of Henry VIII, and so that's how he got the title of the album. It's just purely on a naming convention. But yeah, I mean, here, you know, the original album, you do get to see and hear his talent. You know, and I think it's the only Rick Wakeman album you need, and it's a, I'd say it's an essential. It's an essential one. You know, this is the one. Don't worry about the rest of them. This is it. Talking about the reissue, you've got the original album, and you've also got a couple of bonus bits bolted onto the end, like you do. On the DVD, the DVD's curious because it's not been remixed per se. You know, they haven't gone in and jiggered around with it. What they've done is, I think they've remastered the stereo, but they've put a quad mix that was lurking from the oldie days. There must have been a quad mix of this done back in the day, because, you know, they had a form of surround sound back in the 1970s called quadraphonic sound. Did you know that? Only had the stereo and rear speakers, only 4 speakers, but so this is what you've got. So it's a bit of a weird listen, because you've only got it's only a quad mix. You only got the front and the rears. You haven't got any centre or subwoofer. So, you know, took a bit of time for the old luggos to get accustomed to listen to the quad, but, you know, it was all right. It was interesting. It was interesting to hear what they thought surround sound should be like back in the day, you know, because, yeah, things have changed. Attitudes have changed now. You also get a TV performance from, I guess it'd be Old Grey Whistle Test, I think. I'd imagine it was Old Grey Whistle Test, which is fun to watch. But that's it, really. I mean, I don't think these have been remastered or reissued before, so it's about time that he did get them. There's a fairly authoritative essay from Jerry Ewing. I used to sit opposite Jerry when I used to have a job once. Yeah, I've rubbed shoulders with the best of them, you know. But yeah, Jerry Ewing is the editor. I think he's the editor of that Prog magazine. Remember, Prog is a 4-letter word. Not that I'd ever be seen reading a copy of that filth. But yeah, so he writes a fairly authoritative piece about the making of the album and how Rick Wakeman got his first deal and that. So, you know, I think this is a worthy purchase in terms of a rating. He says, I give it, I'll give it a nice 3.5 Jane Seymours out of 5. You know, Jane Seymour, you know, the 70s Jane Seymour, not the one that had the dalliance with old Emery there. But yeah, so I think that's a fair review of that. And again, it's probably the best version. I remember having this on LP back in the day. Because in the old days, you could buy Rick Wakeman's LPs for about 50p. There used to be thousands of the buggers in the trays, in the bins, thousands of the buggers, and yeah, you could go in there and fill your boots. And that brings us on to this one. Now, I'm not a big fan of this one at all. Again, it follows the same format. You've got the disc. The first disc is obviously the CD. But you don't get any extras. It's just the album. You know, it's okay. You know, you know what I'm like. You know, I need guitars. I can't do keyboard albums. He says, and then I'll profess my love for Jean-Michel Jarre, and everyone will call me a hypocrite. But yeah, this too, you got the DVD again. It's a quad mix, and I thought, wow, that's, again, you have to get into it. It's interesting to hear the instrumentation and the way it's spread. But I was hoping for King Arthur on Ice on the. There must have been a video of this out there. I wanted that on the DVD, but there is no, alas, there is no video bits. So it's a bit lacking. But again, you do get the essay from Jerry Ewing talking about the making of the album. Again, Rick Wakeman was very, very ill when he made it. I think he'd had one of his many heart attacks, and he was very ill when he started writing this album. And the story, I found the story of it more interesting than the album itself, the making of. I find that I like to know how albums are made. So yeah, I thought that was worth the price for admission. But as a piece of work, I'm not a great fan of this. Though they did reproduce the booklet and everything very well compared to the old album version. I think they've done a good job of reproducing it. So it really is the deluxe edition. In terms of an album itself, I'm probably going to rate this probably a bit lower, probably about a two Lady in the Lakes out of 5. That's 2 Lady in the Lakes out of 5, because I don't really care for it that much. Sorry, and I do find his back catalogue a bit boring. All right, keyboard player, isn't he? So yeah, so there you go. Hopefully this is piqued your interest for these releases. I mean, again, if you're a big fan of these albums, these are definitely a must-buy because they've done a great job in reissuing them. But they're not for me. I like them. And let's not go on about the journey to the centre of the earth. So anyway, my name's been Darren Locke, and I've been burbling on about Rick Wakeman's 6 Wives of Henry VIII and his Tales of King Arthur and the Round Table and his Merry Men. That don't sound right. That's wrong. That is. Didn't he rob from the rich and give to the poor? I'm mixing up my myths now. Mind you, you could say these reviews are a little bit hit and miss. You're a hard audience, you really are. Anyway, so that's it. I've done my bit. You can go and do your bit now. I only one more thing to say. Prog on!